Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Movie Talk. I'm Warren. That is Aaron. And today we bring you a bit more somber movie talk collaborative. No, not so much combative, not our normal format, but we felt it important to honor the life of Chadwick Boseman. Um, Completely taking into account, right, not wanting to put out content to kind of like capitalize on a somber moment, but this we really thought if for people who talk about movies, like we really should mention what he meant to our movie going experience in the brief period that he entered into our lives. And obviously we all know from the big blockbusters, but sorry, yeah, I'm already getting carried away. Aaron, please
I
help me
think
out.
I wouldn't. I think I would not have asked for us to do this today. I mean, for me, see, it could have been. I don't know what other actor to name. Be like, see, like, well, from Draft Day, I'll just say that
Yeah.
if it was Kevin Conroy, in the who, if it
Yeah.
was his time, I don't think I would be as inclined because me personally, I just don't know most of his
You
movies,
mean
and
Kevin Costner?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, I love Kevin Conroy, Kevin Costner.
Yeah, from Draft
Uh,
Day.
Yeah, and I really don't relate to a lot of his films, so I think I would feel weird doing anything on that personally. I don't think I'm the right person, but I think for this, I really did want to speak about this because I remember Chadwick Boseman from 42
Dude.
uh, being my first, his kind of outbreak movie from what I remember.
So like the just again, I'm just one person, but I see the memes, and I just want to say from like the black community before T'Challa, we hung a lot on Chadwick Boseman's shoulders. Just in like the roles he played in, from Jackie Robinson to
Yeah.
to Thurgood Marshall to James Brown, right? These are some heavy roles, and now you give him King of Wakanda, right? And he's basically been propositioned like anywhere that you want to have an African American portrayal, have it done respectfully and powerfully. Like there is nobody else in Hollywood, and I honestly like this weekend is probably gonna be a Chadwick marathon because you've seen more of his movies than I have.
I watched two new ones for this, but prior to that, yeah, I've seen more than just what he's done with the MCU and Black Panther, and man, going through them with the context now of his passing, you see the sense that he really wanted to make all the movies he does impactful. He wanted that message, a strong message to get across, and man, he does it brilliantly every time.
So
He's such a good actor between all those historical characters he's played as well.
I saw the trailer for Get On Up, and I was like, I have to see that. As like someone whose parents always like had James Brown going on, I was like, I need to fucking watch that. But just in the arc of his career, through sort of like the diagnosis, what you said seems very accurate, right? Like, in 2016, you started fighting with this, and like, imagine coming off of the high of Civil War to a diagnosis like that, and then given the gravity following up with like Black Panther and the Infinity War. And then even I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely gonna see it because it's on Netflix and you guys should watch it too. The Five Bloods. I hear it's really emotional, and people watching that now, no spoilers, I haven't seen it, but with Chadwick scenes in it, especially, it probably has some serious gravitas.
Should I have seen that one. That was the new one I watched.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything. But wait, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was going to say, just like knowing that arc, and around 2019, he had to be sensing something was up. So, like, putting yourself into this is how people are going to remember me, or like, I want to leave a mark, right? Like, he's probably acted his heart out, man. I haven't seen that, but man, I'm going to make it a thing to go through all of these. There was one that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, I will say this just to before we can go with this chronologically, or we can go bounce around. I'm happy either way.
Our entire
Uh,
format is bounce around, so please.
but with Get On Up, if I had to compare it, no spoilers. Like between that and like Bohemian Rhapsody, Get On Up had like the guts to really tackle the hard issues that James Brown went up against, politically at the time and just emotionally with everyone he was working with in the industry. And I don't think Bohemian Rhapsody really dipped into something like that. They touched on them lightly, but they really moved on quick. And man, I think that was probably that was very important, because I learned a lot about James Brown, honestly, that I didn't expect to figure out. You know what I mean? Like how he was in prison after one of the heights of his part.
Yeah, dude. After he had a hit, and then one of his album covers is him in his prison blues behind a prison cell. I don't remember what album that is, but like James Brown didn't have it, particularly easy, and then to have him sort of face these demons with his own addiction, and then all of the other stuff culturally going around the country. Who else? So I forget what I had seen James Chadwick in before, but when I saw the trailer for Get On Up, I was like, oh, James Brown biopic, all right. And who was going to be in it? I was like, okay. You know how when like the actor finally matches up to like the capability, like this is going to be a good portrayal. Like I know that this is going to work out. I just got really excited for it. Still haven't seen it, but I got really excited for it.
Yeah, I'll say this. He kills it. I think like for these movies, these biopics specifically for like the musical artists, the lip syncing always gets a little iffy for me. Mm-hmm. But I think that was just near the beginning, because there's a certain point, I don't know where, but for some reason, and that's on the editors, that's not on Chadwick Boseman, because every time from beginning to end, whether he's on the stage, that's a difference between Bohemian Rhapsody as well. Rami Malek, when he's off the stage, is kind of just like, he has the fake teeth in his mouth. It's a good performance, but it's not like, it doesn't feel like it's Freddie Mercury. But with Chadwick Boseman as James Brown, he really felt like he was that person. And in fact, it's so funny. This is kind of his funniest role I've seen him in.
I can imagine.
He's so stoic and like stern and like serious and everything else. And it's great performance, but it was really refreshing to see him do something kind of it gets really dark with James Brown's past and his personal demons. Yeah. But at least when he's trying to be funny and mess with the people and have a good time, all in. He's so funny. He's very good at comedy.
Well, I mean, he's had this. This is something he's known that he wanted to do his entire life, right? Like from going to school with fine arts in directing to, going to an Oxford summer program, which anecdotally was funded by Denzel Washington. I guess seeing something in him that was like, he can't afford this, let me chip in. This guy's got some promise. I'm not familiar with that story, but yeah, Denzel partially had something to do with him being able to attend that, not knowing what came as a result, if it saw any opportunities, whatever. But this has been in his core since he was. He's known he wanted to do this, and it comes out when he's on camera. And
yeah, because he really tries to make his projects count, is what I get.
Yeah, that's also something where you track with great actors, right? Like their sense of the projects they should pick is totally in line with what people are feeling at the moment, right? There are no real like throwaway films. He's not doing this one for like a make good for his director buddy or something, is what I feel like. I haven't watched his entire catalog, but like I don't want to throw anything away.
I would say because he tried making political points that needed to be made during Black Panther. I feel like Disney tried, like, they definitely could have been made even more, but you still got to sell it to families. So it definitely wasn't the most in-depth it's ever been, but I think that tracks, because it always feels like he's trying to send that message through his films, through his art, wherever he is.
Well, then because it's the one that I can speak the most to, is that MCU Black Panther T'Challa. But most people, I assume, are just like me. They probably haven't. They might have seen 42. They might have seen The Five Bloods. I'd imagine is probably spiking in viewership now. But most people, he is T'Challa. He's always going to be T'Challa. And I saw it. I was touched, and he depicted this like like I said, I've always been a DC guy, never a Marvel guy. So anecdotally, I knew who Black Panther was, whatever. But the first time I saw him depicted on screen via Chadwick Boseman, I was like, this you're not gonna find any better Black Panther in the series if you can't sign him again. So I'm really to go back to like the gravity of it. There are generations of kids who this movie is going to outlive us. And that movie, Black Panther alone, even outside of Civil War, I put as the second or the third best film in the series. And it's just going to be immortalize him forever.
Oh, yeah. Like, I would say there's still been, like, I'm going to say this, the first, like, black superhero, even though there have been more, like, Luke Cage and Spawn.
Spawn.
Yeah, Blade. Yeah. But, well, I'm struggling on more. Damn it, America.
Storm. Yeah, but no, this is kind of like America's coming out. And what better of a trailblazer actor, humanitarian person than Chadwick Boseman? Like you couldn't find a better fit for this character.
That is a good way to phrase it, because he definitely feels like he's setting a path. And now, especially in this current climate, it's hard to ignore. And you're looking back, and I'm seeing this film with any of his films with like this new context, and it's like, oh my god.
This is par for the course with him. Thurgood Marshall, he plays a trailblazer. Jack and Robinson, he's the first one to break through, right? Like James Brown in a lot of ways, like crossover audiences, right? Like I can't really say enough about this guy. I honestly don't have anything bad to say, and I really wanted to like see where he took it, right? Like I don't want to compare him to we're honoring him. I really am sad for, the lost potential of, what was on his horizon, let alone Black Panther 2 or whatever else you do. Even if you bring it back, you do a disservice to everybody if you cast somebody else. If you happen to put him in another MCU film, it has to be a fully masked Black Panther with no lines, right? Like on the periphery or like in the background, or you read news stories about, or like you soft throw to, but like you can't have another actor in this role, probably for a generation and a half.
He is, you can't compare, but like, he is his Black Panther, just like Robert Downey Jr. can't be replaced, Chadwick Boseman cannot be replaced.
Yeah, dude. Like in so many ways. And then just going through the social media feeds, it didn't hit, again, these we're like we're adults. As much as I hate to say it, we're adults. These movies aren't meant for us, but we kind of sit here and critically analyze them. The loss didn't really hit me until I saw all these kids with their Black Panther figurines, like really sad on social media. How much of like, I can't.
No, I saw that.
There's nothing to compare it to. This is especially given the hope. We don't live in a vacuum, man. Our current political, cultural moment is just dog shit. So to have some sort of like aspirational, even fictional character like T'Challa and Black Panther, then portrayed by a titan like Chadwick Boseman, was just compounding so many. Just the future was very bright, right? And it was just, I can't put it into words. I'm having a hard time putting it in words, but I think that like feeling I can't articulate, you get.
I think I get the sense that, Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther came at like a good time.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like, and he was that shining light that was like, everything is going to be just fine. Unfortunately, we have people in charge that we need to heavily reform, get rid of, get some people who have morals in charge. But I think he was definitely that shining light when everyone needed it. And unfortunately, even now, he's still that shining light. He just doesn't see how bright he's really burning right now.
He's not going to be able to see how bright his beacon echoes. There are definitely, I think him as a person is going to, the character, the shadow of Chadwick Boseman is going to be massive. You can't get out from under it. There's so many things that he's outstretched on. One of the films that he finished in post-production, Another Pioneer, Yasuke, I believe that's what it's called, the first black samurai. Basically, an African-American slave in feudal Japan becomes a samurai, and like a damn good one, and he portrays that person.
Oh my god, I have to see that.
Yeah.
Wait, did they finish production
about that? So it says on IMDb post-production. So I don't know if like they had some cleanup. I have no idea what state it was in, but when they put it at post-production, I assume hopefully all principal shooting with all his scenes are just like done. And like they don't have to like cut, splice, CGI anything together. I hope they got everything they needed to get. And I hope, I mean, it's not, The Last Samurai, and it's not like a campy film. It's supposed to be in the same vein of like 42.
Yeah, like he rising to the occasion.
Yeah.
In like, the underdog against all this cultural circumstances. That sounds amazing. I really want to see that. I think I also want to bring this up because you mentioned it. I really hope Disney, the people who are directing that movie, don't do that. That any reshoots they need, they don't like. Remember how they did it with Leia and Tarkin?
Yeah.
They CGI'd them from, beyond. And I think that's really weird and disrespectful. And whether you own the likeness of this person it doesn't even matter. Just don't do it. So I'm really hoping with Chadwick Boseman, if they're going to do anything, just do like the back of the head shot of someone else for like a half second,
I can see a world, maybe in 20 years, where they do CGI him, but only if like another Black Panther is appointed. You know how the previous Black Panthers go into the pasture of the African afterlife? Like I can see him being a consultative body or someone, sort of a specter in there. I don't know how you play that. And like honestly, it's kind of like sad to think about, but I think that hopefully no one in the near future it's someone's job to contingency plan that, and I hope they do it with as much piety as possible, because he gave so much to so many people, and I can't speak on behalf of the Black community, but I can say from what I've observed and my own impact that he was super impactful in all of his roles. Most specifically, Black Panther. I feel like if I had a kid, I'd be consoling them right now.
On it, like those memes online, those kids who lined up the rest of their action figures into Black Panther. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The fact they did it, but it's endearing because the child is kind of understanding that. I can't remember what age I learned about the concept of death, but the fact that they're doing that is, I don't know. It gets to me at a different level.
There are just so many teachable moments in the Black Panther film and in Civil War around the Chadwick Boseman, around T'Challa. And this, I feel like would be a teachable moment for parents, right? And yeah, it's so weird. My family made it a point to take me to funerals at like an early age. Just kind of like grasp that concept, but I know that a lot of my peers didn't have that. So I don't know at what point in your family or your household you start talking about that concept seriously, as opposed to just like a heaven. But I feel like this has thrust that conversation into a lot of households just because of his reach as this character. Everyone knows who T'Challa is.
Yeah, and everyone was heartbroken the first time, and in like Endgame when we already
that's gonna take on. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep it together, because I got goosebumps when he disappeared the first time. I was like, oh man.
I think the movie Black Panther itself, like, actually will completely contextualized, because that scene in the astral plane is just beautiful on a different, like, beautiful in another different way now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, man. It and I like I remember seeing pictures of him very thin, as it is gaunt like the right word to use, but I didn't think anything of it. I just like, maybe he's preparing for a new role. I had no idea he was struggling with this. And he was the role that we most remember him by. He was like in the middle of that battle. Like
Yeah.
2018 Black Panther came out, right? So he either started filming at the beginning of his diagnosis, or to just work through that, he had to have, and maybe that's why the film is so impactful, like the drive he put into that character. He's like, there's no half-assing this on millions of levels. There's no dialing this in. Yeah.
Yeah, he does not hold back. He it looks like from everything he gave it 110%. Um, yeah. In the Five Bloods, I kind of got the sense that he knew it was coming. He knew how close it was, because in the film he's I'm not spoiling. I don't want to spoil anything, but I will just mentally prepare you that he's not in it as much as you want him to be in it. But he is in it. And in that role, you know, have you read can I read the Netflix description of it?
Yeah,
Is that a spoiler?
It's I don't, you know, I'm all about the journey versus the end. So if the story is told well enough, you can't really spoil the end for me.
Yeah, because for when I started it, I thought I spoiled it. It's great. It's a great journey. What was it? It was basically four veterans, African American veterans, returned to Vietnam decades after the war to find their squad leaders' remains and a stash of gold.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that squadron leader is Chadwick Boseman, and the pedestal they put him on, it just kind of feels like it is what he was trying to do with his own life in the real world. Like, because yeah, there's moments where they just being the squad leader, he was brilliant, and he was like always their sense of inspiration, but he was their sense of like self. He not only got them up and fighting in Vietnam in the hardest, in like really tough scenes. By the way, Spike Lee as a director is,
we have to do Spike Lee, man.
He opened that film hardcore, and the rest of the movie is just keeping you there.
You can look in like an actor's eyes and say like, how, is this innate? How much did they research this? Just the context of Vietnam, especially for like African Americans, like going to fight a foreign war where you go home, you can't even eat at a counter without, like it's and without knowing or anything about the film or the squad leader of an all black unit, I'd assume, I can imagine he again had the gravity to what it takes to like corral the morale of his troops to get it done, with the goal being survive to get home. We got a job to do. That's not one of my favorite films was called, before The Walking Dead, it was called The Walking Dead. It was Eddie Griffin. It's a whole bunch of black actors, but it's basically a black Vietnamese commando unit sent to do, basically they're sent behind the lines to do decoy missions. They're not even like meant to survive. So that the main special ops people can kind of like go and do shit. And it took on all that. I'd imagine to see the same themes in the Five Bloods.
Very much so.
Like
yeah.
Flashbacks to home life, to like inner turmoil amongst like fighting the white man's war sort of thing. And like I have no idea. But yeah.
It gets crazy, and they really do address those issues like that. Like, I learned a lot. In fact, they actually even, and I love this part, in the movie, they will bring up subtly actual historical African-American heroes that risked their lives and lost their lives, actually, fighting hard, literally jumping onto a grenade for your allies. And they reference them by picture. There's literally, they break the movie and they show a photo and a norm of the actual, soldier. And normally I think showing like a picture in a movie would be distracting. But right now, well, I mean, not even right now, like politically, I mean, right now in the movie, the way it's done and the way these veterans are talking about it, it comes up so naturally. Yeah. And you want to see who they're talking about. And it's amazing. It really, it's a part of the Black Lives Matter collection on Netflix. And that's awesome. I really like that they inform you about actual heroes. And then they also inform you about the atrocities and the injustices that came with it.
I have no idea if anyone listening has gone to the African American History Museum in DC. I have no idea if they have an entertainment section, and it is phenomenal. Dude, it is one of the best museum experiences. As unbiased as I can be about it, it is one of the best museum experiences you can visit. Some parts tough, some part a lot of parts uplifting, but definitely very documenting African Americans throughout the U.S. I sincerely hope that Chadwick Boseman finds a place there somewhere, even with the fictional country of Wakanda. But his career alone should find a place in there. Just how universally accepted that film was. Infinity War, Endgame,
Civil War?
No, I didn't like it. Civil War was all right.
But he was in it, and that was a fantastic scene in that.
That was his first one in the MCU, was in Civil War, right? Where he was chasing down the Winter Soldier. But in terms of like the MCU, I'm having a Doctor Strange. I go back and forth with Doctor Strange and Black Panther as being like the second best film in the series. But the context it puts on, the weight of the scale probably just dropped through the floor for edging towards with Black Panther, man.
Yeah, because it really felt like the first Marvel movie that was trying to say something like outside of the movie. Mm. All the Marvel movies are just like, we'll connect them. But I honestly don't remember a lot of the other ones having a strong message like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of the other ones, too, didn't have a Chadwick on it. To be honest, like he carried that, you have like Letitia Wright playing his sister, you have Angela Bassett, you have Forrest Whitaker in those films, but like he overshadows them in a good way to pull that film through. And it's just like it's as much about Chadwick as it is T'Challa. And I would say that like there is no... The MCU Infinity War is the timeline, right? So to do these like Winter Soldier kind of fell short. To do these like spin-offs in the linear progression, they like not really expected to like be good. But man, I would have seen Black Panther and still probably loved it as much independent of as its own film outside of the MCU. If they were just like, we're gonna have this other Marvel character completely not like looped into this thing. Like, God, I can't. Yeah.
I think Doctor Strange was more of a visual ride for me. But Black Panther really felt like it revitalized the MCU at a time where everybody was starting to really die off after Age of Ultron. I think it was. Mm-hmm. Is that the timeline?
I think so.
Civil War. Regardless, I think I could have sworn the single films like Ant-Man and the Wasp, I know that didn't do well. Like those were, or not as well as it could have been for Disney, basically. But I could have sworn that that little slump, the peak is where Black Panther came in. It brought everyone back to the theaters for it. And that's why. I mean, I remember people freaking out when Black Panther disappeared in Endgame.
Dude.
And I remember thinking, Disney, you're going to regret that because he's a franchise carrier.
Yeah.
Chadwick is definitely, that's why I loved him in 42. That's why I keep bringing that up. Because like that, from then I just didn't care about true story movies a lot because of my family. They just inundate with me with that. And then that was the one for me that was just like, he's really good. Who's this person? Like, like I was so enveloped in his portrayal and the lessons he was trying to teach, uh, and how good he was at being an actor. Also, he works with so many like A-lister top tier actors, and he's always right up there with them. Like playing his heart out. He's amazing. He's better than most.
Yeah, what like who's I man the Black Panther storyline even during Civil War Endgame, I wanted to see more. I was like, what is he like the final battle, right? I'm like, what is he doing right now? He is tearing ass. Like, come on, let's give him some window time with his suit. And then when he gets the gauntlet, in my head, I'm like, put it on, fucking put it on. And like, that's the Uzo in me coming out. But I was like, put it on, fucking just put it on, man. Yeah.
I felt like he could have been, because like he has vibranium. He would be the most one of the most well able to hold it. I feel like.
Yeah, it's gamma though, right? Like, isn't that the whole thing? Does it need to be against skin? I have no idea. I don't give a crap. I was just like, put it on. We'll sort out the details later. Just put it on. Just put it on, man.
Come on. Yeah. There's got to be a scene now. Actually, I did hear there was one last scene he recorded as Black Panther. It was in the What If series coming up on Disney Plus. Have you heard about that?
Oh, like Wanda and Vision?
Yeah, but it's actually, there's a different one than Wanda and Vision. You know how there's like Loki and Wanda and Vision and Hawkeye? There's one that's just called What If, where every episode is animated and every episode is a what if in the MCU. So none of them are real, but all of them are different stories that could have happened or what if they.
Fun.
And that was for Marvel, that was the last thing he recorded for them. Yeah, his episode as Black Panther, and I'm really curious. I'm dying to see what that is.
When did he record that?
I know it's been in production for a while. I'm unsure when exactly, but I know it had to have been within the last year or so.
Ooh.
Last year or two, maybe, because the What If series has been it's been worked on for a while. It was announced along with Hawkeye and all that stuff, and Loki.
Crazy, man.
Right? I can't wait to see him in that. I can't wait to see him as the samurai too.
Yeah, that's kind of like the last thing too on his IMDb credits. In the 16th Warrior, a true story of a 16th century warrior Yasuke in the quest for redemption and honor. Yasuke, the only known samurai of African origin, becomes entrenched in a struggle for control of feudal Japan.
And he really loved breaking boundaries. I'm really excited for that.
Oh, What If, right there. Okay, yeah, I see it. It's kind of in the more like this category. Dude, this guy. Man, what a fucking head trip, dude. And it's kind of, we do these, we have fun, we have to plan it and whatever. There's no real sense of urgency. But if there's anything that, like, pushes, it's got to be that, like, dude, this could be over tomorrow. We're all passing through. Try to leave the world in a better place than you found it, whether with deeds or with, experiences. And he is given a lifetime worth of positive experiences to a ton of fucking people.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. I like the way you say that. The way you phrase that. It's like he's inspired a whole generation, and I believe, yeah, he has made the world better. And I bet we all only wish he could just be here to see it.
T'Challa made choices Warren and Uzo would have not done. That's fucking kill. You know what I mean? Like yeah, dude. Just making a grown man kind of question his own lack of empathy and altruism is definitely the sign of a good piece. Whether it's a combination of writing or acting, um, man, he breathed life into everything he did. Even one of my favorite all-time SNL skits is Black Jeopardy with T'Challa as the guest star. Have you seen that?
Oh my god, I have to see that. I haven't. I didn't know that was a thing. I tuned out. I don't know. I lost interest in SNL. Not.
So, me too. And Keenan Thompson to me is like whatever. Sometimes he's funny. I really like dislike overly campy dog shit. And not to say campy is dog shit, but like too much, and I'm just like, come on, man. But
I can stomach it. It's my junk food. It's like my guilty pleasure when it's campy.
So Black Jeopardy is this series where Keenan plays the host, and the questions are, the categories are, things by black folks talk about. Like one of the categories is just called white people. Another category is called I don't know. As like the questions are like I don't know. It's like that's my dog. That's fine. He doesn't bite. Don't worry. And the answer being I don't know. He got teeth, don't he? The other one with T'Challa, the questions are meant to like. There's no way I can't tangibly give you what these scenes are. You just have to watch it. But T'Challa and Chadwick play this upstanding African immigrant on the panel for Black Jeopardy, and all of his answers are ethically and morally right, but at the same time wrong. One of the questions is like, why is the phone bill in your grandmama's name? And T'Challa clicks in. He's like, to honor her as the matron of the family. And everyone looks at him like, what? It's like, that's really nice. It's wrong, but it's nice. I'm gonna butcher it. There's one with the police in that Black Jeopardy episode that you need to see. I'm not gonna even try to hack it. If you're watching this, when we end this, go Google T'Challa Black Jeopardy, and
we'll throw up a link for it.
Yeah, we'll link directly to it in the description. You will not be disappointed.
Unfortunately, if I show the video to get past copyright, the video has to be moving.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
The things you learn doing this yourselves. But
it's gotta be
just like taking that character, putting him, and he knew, like, all the photos I've seen of him doing this, right? You would think someone would get tired of that. But I mean, he knows the impact that it has on that generation, and like the ambassador. What I feel like you have to sit somebody down to talk to them about what a role like this means. By the way, you're also now a spokesperson and a de facto role model, so please don't, embarrass us. But like with someone like Chadwick, you don't have you can book him and know that he's like, we got the right person.
Oh yeah.
On screen, off the screen, and like extracurricular activities, like he's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine someone saying, don't embarrass us to Chadwick Boseman, because anyone in the room, is going to give that look. That's an insane thought. He's always like the additive, and he always kills it. I can't wait to see Yasuke.
As much as I can say, like I didn't know him. Unfortunately, I won't ever have the chance to meet him. But as much as I can say that, like I will miss you, man. I will miss your work, and I'll miss seeing you on screen in new stuff. I'm gonna be watching all your stuff this weekend. That's for sure.
As we've lost, I think as other actors have shocked the world, like Robin Williams was definitely one of them. The world is, equally shook, if not more, with Chadwick Boseman and what he's left, the mark he's left behind for the world to really enjoy, I guess, and rewatch over and over again.
Yeah. So, with that said, we just felt like we couldn't, do another episode without at least addressing this. And this is shot out of sequence, so you'll probably see this sooner rather than later. And we felt it was important to just say, hey, yeah, like, this is impactful. This is worth talking about, right? Like, yeah, this is, we do this as respectfully as we can, but this is definitely something that we feel like we need to address because, yeah, it's a loss. The world has lost a significant amount of creative energy. And my fear is that like we don't even know how much yet.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of someone who was doing what he was doing with as many films as he was doing it, and not a lot of not much is coming to mind.
No. On that note, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for listening to us. Make sure you bookmark and check out as many Chadwick films as you can. And watch, if you need a laugh, if this was too somber, the Black Jeopardy episode starring Chadwick Boseman and Kenan Thompson is going to brighten your spirits. Trust me. Go watch that, actually. Go watch that now. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Link in the description?
Yeah, we'll have the link in the description later.